Hi, I'm Liz Jensen, and I'd like to welcome Louise Greeley Copley, FAUSA's fourth president, 2009 to 2011, to this interview. Welcome, Louise. We're going to start with a zinger. So during your presidency, you worked with Falco and the Falco Foundation, to make education awards and development grants available to FAUSA members and their children. And I looked up some numbers today, and I think you'd be pleased to hear, since then, 19 awards have gone to FAUSA members, 10 education awards, so $67,000, and
Ama-
9 DGs, so $44,000. So thank you for that. It's been very worthwhile, and I think it's a big draw to FAUSA. So tell us about this process and how it came about and what was involved.
Well, like you said, it's a big draw, and that's how I saw it. But also, in that time period, in that decade, we saw many changes throughout the whole Falco organization. That included the foundation, Falco, and FAUSA. And part of what I had been working on before I came to FAUSA was trying to bring all those groups together and to make sure that we were all speaking as one voice. But within our recognizing each of the sister parts of Falco and bringing that to FAUSA, it was time to change the way we did fundraising and also change the way we distributed funds. And we had seen that there wasn't as much of a response to the educational awards, although our membership was very passionate about giving out awards. So part of what that was is to work with the Falco and the foundation president, and also to clarify what our relationship is. Are we a club? Are we not a club? So that was a very, very important part of the equation.
And ongoing, I think.
Yes. And once that was clarified, my goal was that we would commit to support fundraising for a development grant for educational awards,
Okay.
making sure that our members were eligible to submit for development grants for their projects and things they're passionate about. And more importantly, to open that field of educational awards for members and their children. And because we had an aging population 15 years ago, I thought it was just so much more important that we work together for a common goal instead of one award. And it was well received at the time. But honestly, it was a lot of just communication with Falco, with the foundation, and then with the memberships to say this is the right thing, something that I think we could achieve together.
Well, it's certainly been embraced from all the organization's perspectives. I didn't realize, but it makes total sense that it was a reciprocity, that
Right.
we would then be supporting development grants and education awards. So I know that those numbers are also very impressive, what FAUSA gives back to or gives to the foundation. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've watched it go from strength to strength, and so I'm very pleased. I had no idea what those totals were. I should have after being on the foundation board, but I'm really happy to hear that.
Well, we'll probably hear the updated ones in the foundation's report at the annual House's annual meeting. So one of your other big achievements was doing a lot of the conversion from paper to the digital world, including the Highlights magazine.
Right.
So how did the membership receive that, and how did you prepare the membership? What?
Well, one of the first things we did is we surveyed the entire membership, which at the time I think was about 200 some odd members. We surveyed both by email, but also we had teams that called every single member.
Oh my gosh.
And here's what we learned, because what our questions were: do you have email? Do you receive the emails from FAUSA at that time? And do you read them? Because we had no way of tracking things. And we talked about the financial cost of what it costs per magazine versus what the membership cost is. And the answer came back after doing all that. There were only 4 members out of 200 plus that did not have email. However, their families did, and their families would print out anything addressed to them and they could read everything. And with that in mind, we moved it digitally. The newsletters, to try to use constant contact on a more regular basis. And it
Yeah.
wasn't monthly during my tenure. We we did a few per year, and gradually over the years, it became monthly. But to make that news current, because the highlights is a looking back, I wanted to look forward. And we presented to the membership along with the budget that we had. We wanted to put that money into growing and enhancing our website to make it more interactive and safer, and also to focus on this newfangled social media, this thing called Facebook. And now look at all the Facebook groups and things we have. So that was really the purpose. Now, in any organization with change, there's always naysayers, but that's okay because you want to have people that challenge you to think in different directions. And I think it's worked out really well. And I know they've brought it back and probably found a much more economical way to do the highlights. I think it's mostly digital, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's on the platform is Yampu, so
Yeah.
it's very, yeah.
So it's good that it's gone to that, but you also to do those things, the current board has a much bigger base of people to do the work of collecting information, writing the articles, and
Yeah,
edit it and put it all together. And at that time, in that transition, we really didn't. We had people that just said it took up way too much of their personal time. We didn't really have teams. We said we had a committee, but honestly, at that time, that committee usually wound up being myself or the communications person.
right.
And so we really had to do something to make it more efficient for everybody. And the membership, I think, at the time understood.
That we're in 2025, so 15 years later, right?
Yes.
What advice would you give to future FAUSA leaders?
Um, to continue to look forward is number one. And the biggest thing that I really want to give future leaders is to continue to maintain strong international connections. I think that is the best thing we can do for ourselves, but for our memberships and for the global community.
Hmm.
And be advocates in your local communities, but also globally. And this is my biggest thing in any organization I join. Please strive for diversity in your membership and your leadership team.
Hmm.
And we are doing a better job. I think we could do so much more in our outreach. I wish I had the magic wand that could foresee what that would be, but we have to do better. We have to have a better population age. We need to have a better racial
Hmm.
ethnicity. We just have to you have to look in any organization, you have to look and say who's missing and how do I include them? And that's how the way I think diversity and inclusivity and all those things that aren't popular right now are so important. And it's just for me, that's a way of life.
Well, thank you. We're going to move on now to the lightning round. So these
Okay.
are just quick little questions, just yes, yes or no, one or two. So the
Okay.
very first one is shamrocks or jacaranda trees?
Um, Jacaranda trees,
Okay. Window seat or aisle seat?
always a window.
City skyline or countryside view?
Oh, I'm kind of mixed on that. But I'm a city girl at heart.
Spicy curry or mild pasta?
Um, I really like spice, so it has to be curry.
Sushi in Tokyo or tacos in Mexico City?
Mexico City.
Okay, here's a good one. Jet lag or culture shock?
Ooh, I think I take culture shock over jet lag because it's brutal.
Visa paperwork or losing your luggage?
Oh, losing your luggage.
And finally, making local friends or finding expat groups?
I think you have to have a healthy balance of both. That's not an either or.
Yeah.
I think in my lifetime, after 45 years of living around the globe, you have to expand your circle. And I find it actually harder sometimes in a local setting, but you have to find your people.
Well, I think that's a big part of what FAUSA is about, don't you?
Absolutely.
We
And
are,
that's what I love. I love that you can go to a FAUSA reunion or to a Falco conference and have never met somebody, and you will have so much common ground.
yeah,
And the bond forms instantly.
so true. Is there anything else you'd like to?
Well, one of the things that I would just like to include is that every board, once a year, I've always been the detail person. And a lot of people don't like that. It's not glamorous, it's boring to some. But pay attention to those small details, because then when a crisis hits, it's not as big of a leap. And I don't mean you need to scour the bylaws or the administrative guidelines for, grammar changes, but honestly think of that as technology changes, particularly in our lifetimes. We have to be paying attention to it.